Hey guys, thanks for watching. Wanted to talk about this because the more that comes out, the more angry I get. And I just got done watching an interview with Secretary Noam regarding this shooting that just happened in Minneapolis. The second one, I believe, it might have been the third one, but the second death, of course. And quite frankly, the other two I completely agreed with. I think they were justified. The one that just happened with Alex Preddy, I think, is completely uncalled for. It's absolutely wrong. And now there's a man that is dead because of unaccountable and violent ICE officials. Now, I want to make a couple of things very clear at the get go, because I'm sure there are going to be people here who are going to be pissed off at me. I don't give a shit. If you don't like what I have to say here, then unfriend me, unfollow me, unsubscribe, do whatever you got to do. I don't care. I've always called it like I see it. And there are going to be times where I support what the government's doing, and there are going to be times where I don't support what the government's doing. This is one of those times that I don't support what the government's doing. And I will also state that I 100% want every single illegal immigrant out of this country, whether they're criminals or not, whether they've committed crimes or not, whether they've got families or not. I don't care if they're 6 months old or 66 years old. I think, and so I support the mission of ICE. What I don't support are some of the tactics of ICE. And so what I want to do is I want to play this and go over sort of what Christie did. And then I want to show you what I think, after I've watched dozens of videos, what I think is the best video that shows really what happened. And so it's going to be a little difficult for some people to watch, but it's got to happen. If you are condoning what the government did to a man today, you probably need to reevaluate a lot of things. But the first thing I want to get to before I get to the video is I want to get to Christie Noam's statement, and I pulled out the relevant parts because, as many of you know, I'm a pretty much a Second Amendment absolutist when it comes to gun rights. And let me also qualify something else here. Okay, I'm not 100% blaming ICE for what happened. What I am blaming them for the fact that there's a guy dead. But the reason he's dead isn't just because someone shot him, and it wasn't just because he was there protesting. It's because there are government officials like Tim Walz, AOC, all these people in Minnesota that are creating this violence and creating this powder keg that is happening up there in Minneapolis. They're lying to the people. They're misrepresenting facts to the people. It's enraging them. They're brainwashed, and they're going out there and they're just being ignorant. And so those, first of all, those political leaders, those Democrats, those socialists, those communists, they're the ones creating this powder keg. And then what happens is you have an incident like what happened today, where you've got weeks of violent protests, and suddenly a guy is dead. But that never excuses, the past never excuses the present. You always have to evaluate circumstances in the present. You can't just say, well, he did this in the past, so I'm just going to, take care of it now. You just can't do that. And so here, let me get started with this Christie Noam interview, because this really annoyed me. And I'm gonna pause it, and I'm gonna talk about a few things, but it's only about a minute and 2 seconds.
The Department of Homeland Security law enforcement officials and officers were conducting targeted operations in Minneapolis against an illegal alien whose criminal history included domestic assault with intentionally inflicting bodily harm, disorderly conduct, and driving without a valid license.
Now, let me again make very clear what my position is here. I don't care if he's got a criminal history or not. If he's here illegally, get rid of him. And I can't help the audio. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to when it's the. But here's what I'll do. I'll let you know that she's about to speak, and then you can turn it up, and then I'll pause it and give about a 1 or 2 second pause so that you can turn it back down before I start speaking, so I don't blow out your ears. All right, I'm getting ready to play this again.
An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
All right, right there. She just said the first lie. The first lie is that this individual approached officers with a 9mm handgun. Now, I'm going to go back and forth here because I think it's important that we break these things down. You just heard Secretary Noem, a government official, a senior government official, make a very matter-of-fact statement that Alex Preddy, that's who he ended up being, that Alex Preddy approached law enforcement with a 9mm handgun. And I'm going to bring this back up one more time.
Attempted to disarm this individual. Approached you.
Here it is. Listen to this very closely. Go ahead and turn your speakers up, and I'll play it in about 2 seconds.
Conduct and driving without a valid license. An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
Okay. She just said an individual, talking about Alex, approached law enforcement officials with a 9mm handgun. Now, I want to show you. This is the video. Now, as you can see here on the right side of the screen, in the middle of the road there is Alex Preddy. And what you're going to see is that he is sort of helping to direct traffic through this sort of bottleneck, because there's ICE agents on both sides of the road. They've sort of double parked on the road, and he's helping people get through. So just watch this. And you can see he's got a camera in his hand. A camera. That's it. All he's got in his hand is a camera. You see people are going through. I'm going to back this up because it started jumping. And you'll see there's a woman in front. There's a woman that is in front of Alex, I guess about 20, 25 feet. And you can't really tell from this camera what she's doing. But what happens is ICE begin to mace her. But she's not blocking ICE. She is in the middle of the road. She's blowing a whistle. But you'll see ICE is on the other side of the road. ICE is parked. There's no ICE vehicle trying to get through. They're not impeding ICE's movement or anything like that. Are they in the middle of the road? Yes. Are ICE traffic cops? No. Are they committing a crime here? Yeah, it's an infraction if you're blocking a roadway or whatever. I don't know what the Wisconsin laws are. But anyway, so just watch this. Now, remember, Secretary Noem said that this man that you see right here approached law enforcement officers with a 9mm handgun. All he's got in his hands right there is a camera. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I don't. Now you'll notice right here. Sorry, I don't know if that's the way that it recorded or what. It's jumpy. But what you've got right here is in this film, you can see 4 individuals close to the camera, right? You see ICE individuals on the other side of the road watching. The one on the far left is a woman who was in the middle of the road. ICE has maced her and pushed her off to the side of the road. That's an ICE official right there with his arms outstretched because he's trying to mace her some more. Then you've got Alex right there behind the ICE agent. Again, no gun in hand, no 9mm handgun. They approached him, not the other way around. So there's your first lie from Secretary Noem, is that this man, Alex, approached agents with a 9mm handgun. It simply did not happen. It simply did not happen. I'm going to back this up a little bit. I hope it's not as... I'm going to try and play this again. I don't know why it's being so jumpy. It might just be because of the weather and internet. I don't know. Oh, but look back here. Look back here really quick. So if you look right here, here's that woman, right? Here's the woman in the middle of the street. And it looks like she's and she's probably blowing a whistle, which, by the way, so what? Okay. Yeah. Is it annoying? Yes. Is it telling other people, hey, this is how they indicate that ICE is around? Yes, but it's not illegal. It's called a protest. Okay. If you can't stand it, put some earplugs in. All right. Do I like it? No, not at all. But here's this woman. Here's two ICE officials. At some point, they move to get her out of the road. And this person sucks at the camera. Hang on, I'm going to try something. I'm sorry, guys. I've got this uploaded. Let me see if this is better. Now, okay, so if I do it that way, it's a little bit better, but you can see I've got this two different ways. Apparently, if I do the shared thing, for some reason, it's really jumpy. So I'm gonna play this whole thing 46 seconds. Okay, it's 46 seconds. I'm gonna let you see the whole clip up to the point where they, but just before they shoot him. But I want you to just kind of pay attention to all the actors. And there's this narrative that this man attacked ICE, or that this man was interfering with ICE, or that he was obstructing, or that he was doing anything like that. But what I really am concerned about is the fact that Secretary Noam said that he approached them with a 9mm handgun. So I can't, and I'm sure there's a different way to do this under StreamYard. But the way that I'm playing it here, if to be able to pause it, that file's not working. So I'm going to do it this way, and I'm just going to let it play. And and you're not going to be able to hear me while it's playing. All right. Now, if you can think objectively, and if you can watch objectively, and you can set aside your biases one way or the other, whether it's your biases in favor of ICE and Trump and in opposition to illegal immigration, or if you're pro-illegal immigration and anti-Trump, it doesn't matter. If you set aside your biases, what you just saw was a woman get maced. He starts kind of moving towards there, but he grabs another woman. He's got his arms around her, and he's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And then the ICE official continues to mace this other woman to where she's knocked down on the ground. And he gets over there. He's like, hey, look, okay, got it. Enough is enough. He's got his hands in the air. And what does ICE do? They mace him as well. And then he turns around. He's trying to help the woman up. And what do? They attack him. Okay, they attack him. All he's trying to do is preserve the peace. And again, I don't like these people. I think they're stupid. I think they're morons. Let ICE do their job. Stay away. Do your thing. From the sidewalks or whatever, get out of the streets, all that kind of stuff. Great. But that doesn't mean you deserve to get shot. Okay. Now I'm going to try and see if I can move this forward without it jumping so much. Now, see right here, see how you've got the ICE guy right here. You've got the woman in the white jacket that was just maced. She's yelling at him. Alex is not even looking at the ICE agent. He's trying to help this woman who was maced right here. And then what does the ICE agent do? He goes back and starts attacking the woman in the white jacket again. And then here's Alex with his hands up like, hey, guy, look, she's on the ground. All right. And what does the ICE agent do? The ICE agent decides, oh, I've still got some bear spray left. That's not obstruction. And look, his back is turned. His back is turned. He's trying to help this woman up. See, and look, they're not even doing anything. Alex is not even looking at the ICE agent. He's not even attacking him. He's not obstructing him. He's not doing anything. He's sitting there trying to help this woman up. And look at what the ICE agent's doing. Oh, wait, I'm not done. I still have some mace in my can left. Let me continue to attack you, even though you've stopped. You're not even looking at me anymore. You're not paying attention to me anymore. Okay, the whole point of using mace is, let's just say there was obstruction, is to stop it, right? He stopped it. He turned around. And what's this ICE agent doing? He's continuing to mace him. And he's trying to help her up. The ICE agent there now is all over him. They drag him off.
People, the f is wrong with you? Honestly.
They've got him on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know why it's not playing. All right, let me go back to the file here.
What the f is wrong with you? People, the f is wrong with you? Honestly.
Oh, where am I? Oh, there I am. Okay. So it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. Let me see if I can get to the spot here.
People.
So as you can see, let's go back now to Kristi Noem's statement. One of the things that she said, if you remember, was that this individual approached ICE with a 9mm handgun. You can see that's an absolute lie. Absolute 100%. Nobody can dispute the fact that what she said was a lie. That he approached. Did he have a gun on him? Absolutely, but it was under his jacket. And then what happens is you've got these guys who are, let me see if I can get to it. Man, this is just not working well for me right now. But you've got this, I mean, look at, you've got 7 agents on this man. 7 agents. The guy in the gray sees while they've got him down, he's down on his all fours. He's got his arms up here. If you watch the video from the other side, it's a little clearer that you can see his arms in front of him, not back here, not trying to reach for a gun, but he's kind of on all fours like that. So he's not even reaching for the gun. But one of the agents sees as they're attacking him on the ground that, oh, he's got a gun. And what do? They yell gun, grab the gun, and then shoot him. Who grabs the gun? The ICE agent grabs the gun. He never once touched it. He never once went for it. Nothing like that. And then as soon as the agent grabbed the gun, I don't know if he said clear or what, but you can see that as soon as he grabs the gun and starts walking off, all the ICE agents get up and then they shoot him. Let's go back to Kristi Noem here.
9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual.
You hear that? Officers attempted to disarm this individual. No, they didn't. They had no idea he had a gun until he was being piled up on by 7 different officers. They had no idea he had a gun. They didn't stop him to disarm him. He didn't approach them with a gun. They had no idea he was even armed with anything but a camera up until the point that they've got him on the ground. His jacket rides up and they can see his holstered handgun. So there's lie number 2.
But the armed suspect reacted violently.
The armed suspect reacted violently. Do we have to watch that again? Okay, and you tell me where does the Alex, where does he react violently? Show me anywhere in here that he makes any violent actions. Where? Where? Where was he ever violent? Kristi Noem said he was violent. Kristi Noem said he reacted violently. At no point did he react. The whole time he's covered up. He's like, he's got his hands up. Next.
Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots.
Fearing for his life. The man is being attacked by 7 ICE agents. He's on all fours. He's been disarmed by those same thugs, the same ICE agents. Fearing for his life? What, did he think that why didn't he shoot the ICE agent? He's the one with the SIG. I mean, yeah, everyone should fear for their life when someone's got a SIG, because you don't even have to hold it for the thing to shoot, apparently. The guy's being attacked. The guy's got mace in his eyes. He's being attacked. He can't see.
Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds.
Do you hear that? Oh my gosh, he had 2 magazines that had dozens of rounds. You know, that's called a 9mm. And by the way, the fact that he only had 2 magazines, that's 1 less than I carry everywhere I go. And it had dozens of rounds. Now, why is she saying that? Because she's about to tell you something that every gun owner listening to me right now, this should send shivers up your spine about what she's about to say. So she just laid the playing field. She lied to the American people about what happened. We can see it on the video. And then she just said, oh my gosh, he had dozens of rounds. He had 2 magazines. 2 magazines, 2 loaded magazines, which is standard, I think, for most people. And now this is the part that should make your blood curdle.
He also had no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at...
Uh-oh. What happened? Hang on.
Individual arrived at the...
Oh, no.
Damage. Some damage on individual.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna have to do the file thing again. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to watch this whole thing. But listen to the last thing that she says, the last line of this video, because you're not gonna be able to hear me. I'm gonna play this whole thing. It's 1 minute and 2 seconds. You'll be able to hear her entire statement, and then but I want you to pay attention to the very last thing she says.
9:05 a.m. Central Time, the Department of Homeland Security law enforcement officials and officers were conducting targeted operations in Minneapolis against an illegal alien whose criminal history included domestic assault with intentionally inflicting bodily harm, disorderly conduct, and driving without a valid license. An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds. He also had no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at this scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
Did you hear that? He, by carrying a handgun legally with 2 magazines. Now, you know, my magazine right here, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's like a 21 round or something is what I carry. No, 18 plus 1, so 19, right? So there's a dozen and a half in here, plus my backup magazine, another dozen and a half in each one. Okay, dozens of rounds. According to Secretary Noem, if you are lawfully armed and you're protesting and you have loaded magazines, your only intent for doing so is to inflict maximum damage and kill law enforcement. Like, that's the jump that she made. I guarantee you, if he wanted to kill law enforcement, he would have killed law enforcement. If that was what he wanted to do. He never once grabbed for the gun. If he was there to kill law enforcement and inflict maximum damage, why didn't he? He had plenty of opportunities. Plenty of opportunities. Never did. But in Kristi Noem's world, just the fact that he was carrying a gun, because politically they're morons. And I guess if you're a political moron and you're carrying a gun, you must have, never mind self-defense. Have you seen the kinds of people that go to these protests? I'd want a gun there too, because they probably don't trust themselves, much less the people around them, not to be stupid. I can't believe it. It boggles my mind. Now, there are several people that have said, "Oh my gosh, he didn't have."
But CJ, he didn't have an ID. CJ, he didn't have an ID. And he was carrying a gun, CJ. He deserves to be murdered for that.
Fuck you. Where in the Second Amendment does it say I have to carry around some piece of paper to say that I can carry around what the Second Amendment says I can carry around without a piece of paper? And since when are ICE able to enforce state law anyway regarding identification? That's not justification for killing somebody, whether he had ID or not. And quite frankly, do I even believe that he didn't have ID? No, I don't. I'm sure he had ID somewhere on him. I'm sure he did. I don't know. I wouldn't. There are times when I go to protests and I intentionally don't bring my ID because I don't want to be unlawfully searched and seized and have my name run. I don't carry ID when I'm armed all the time. So anyway, if you care about gun rights and you care about the Constitution, you have to understand the First Amendment exists solely to protect speech with which we disagree. I disagree with everything those protesters are out there doing, speech-wise. Blowing the whistles, stupid, but they have a right to do it. Opposing ICE, vocally, stupid, but they have a right to do it. All of that. But I've got morons in the chat telling me, "Oh, but CJ, he wasn't carrying an ID. He was breaking the law." No, he wasn't, because the supreme law of the land is the Second Amendment and the Fourth Amendment and the First Amendment. And all three of those were being practiced at the same time. He was protesting, he was carrying a firearm legally, and he had a right to be free of unreasonable searches and seizures. He didn't have to have an identification. I think if you look at that, and you look at it objectively, and you put your politics aside, and you put your hatred, I had to do that. My first instinct is, of course, to kind of laugh at these people that there's this whole FAFO, fuck around, find out kind of thing. My first instinct is to go, but then I'm thinking, wait a minute, though. I also don't blindly support government. So let's look at this objectively. I don't like government, and I don't like the left. So what's the truth? And that's what I just gave you was the truth. It definitely didn't come from Kristi Noem. She just lied to you. She just lied to the American people. She just put a target on every one of your backs. If you show up to an anti-abortion protest, if you show up to a gun control protest, if you show up to ATF raiding people's homes and stealing their guns, and when the ATF starts coming door to door, stealing, taking people's guns, because they filled out their Form 4s or their Form 1s, and so they know where you're at, and you go out there and you start blowing your whistle because here's the ATF going around picking up guns door to door, door to door. If you're in this chat saying that he deserved what he got, then you deserve to have your guns taken from you, from the federal government, because that's exactly what happened here. Now what? So take a good look inside. Just because you don't like the people and you disagree with what they're doing and what they're protesting, and because they're morons and they're ignorant and they've been lied to and they've been brainwashed and they're being paid, doesn't matter. You don't deserve to die for being an idiot. You don't. Let me get into some of these some of these comments here. Why are the police, mayors, and governor calling for not helping ICE? Exactly, and allowing people to antagonize. Exactly. Where's local? This is the problem. The problem is that you've got the left that's instigating these people, that's encouraging them to do more and more and more, because when they push harder and harder and harder, and then there's pushback, and then something tragic happens like this, then they can use that to demand that they go back out there and push harder, so that there's more pushback, so that another one of these kinds of things happens. And yeah. Let's see. They didn't know he was armed until he was on the ground. His jacket and his shirt was pulled up. Exactly. Let me see. Can you prove that his gun went off while in possession of the ICE agent? I don't think the firearm went off. If you watch the video, slowly, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play these videos without interruption, so that if you would like to, you can cut these out and watch them in slow-mo later. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play the 1 minute and 2 seconds of Kristi Noem uninterrupted, so that you can cut this out later if you want to. You can slow it down. You can listen. I'm going to play her recording first, and then I'm going to play the ICE video the same way, the 46 seconds of the ICE or the video where he's killed, so that you can slow that down as well. All right, so here's the Kristi Noem video.
9:05 a.m. Central Time, the Department of Homeland Security law enforcement officials and officers were conducting targeted operations in Minneapolis against an illegal alien whose criminal history included domestic assault with intentionally inflicting bodily harm, disorderly conduct, and driving without a valid license. An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds. He also had no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at this scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
All right, so there's hers. Now here is the video that I've been playing, 46 seconds uninterrupted, so that later you can go back and watch this slowly. I do not think and there's a better video. I don't think I have it from the other side. I mean, I don't have it on this computer. I've got it on my phone, where you can see it from the other side, where the ICE agent that takes the gun is walking away, and you have a better angle and an image of him holding the gun in his right hand. I don't think it ever fires. I don't think it ever does. But, judge for yourself. Here's the full 46 seconds. You can go back and watch it in slow-mo if you'd like.
What the is wrong with you? People, what the is wrong with you? Honestly.
Every time I watch that, it just pisses me off. It just absolutely pisses me off. You can see the guy in the gray. He's kind of feeling around him, looking for a gun, and eventually does find one. All right, let me see if there's any other questions here. I'm going to go ahead and end this. He was blinded by pepper spray. Do people really think he was grabbing for his gun to shoot blindly at people he couldn't see? Exact. Very good point. Very good point right there. And this is also a good point. I mean, why people get upset about the violence by ICE, but not the violence by these protesters? I have no problem with the shooting of Renee Good. I think that was a justified shot when when she tried to run him over with her car. And you can disagree with me about that all you want. That's fine. I believe that that was a justified shoot. The one where the other guy was attacking him and got shot in the leg, I think that was a good shoot. This one that just happened, not a good shoot. Not a good shoot at all. Now, I will say with Renee Good, though, while I believe it was justified, I don't think he had to shoot. I really don't think he had to kill her. Was he justified in doing it? Yes. Do I think it was the best option? No, I'm saying it was an option. All right. Let me see if there's anything else here in the comments. Can we talk about what led up to the shooting, interfering with an active federal operation? I didn't see that. Again, we can talk about that all day long. But let's even assume that that's true. You don't get executed for it. You don't get executed for interference. I'd be dead 5 times over, because every single time I've been arrested for lawfully carrying, I was also charged with interference or resisting. You think that that's a death sentence? There's something wrong with you. I don't see anything else here. Yeah, I do have a problem with this as well. Yes, the problem is the left. It was the left that allowed millions of illegal immigrants, criminals, to flood into this country. And now they're whining because the right is getting rid of them when they should have never been here to begin with. So yes, the problem is the left. Now, the problem is the government, regardless of who's controlling it, but the problem is the left. They created this issue, and this is just responding to the symptoms. All right, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. I think I made my point. We've got the videos here. This is an operation that was put in place by the Biden regime. And now you've got the Trump regime actually enforcing the laws that the Biden regime refused to enforce. That said, I will also say that ICE has been using excessive force. They've been unprofessional. They've been incompetent, and they've been violent as well. Not all the time, but enough that I don't blindly support anything that they do, or at least the way that they do it, because I've seen them just throw women against walls for no reason, just for being there. And that's just uncalled for. That's just absolutely uncalled for. But we would not be where we are today if it weren't for the fact that you've got all these sanctuary cities, these sanctuary states, these left-wing communist politicians who did everything possible to destroy this country by allowing people who have no allegiance to this country to come into this country and start killing us and taking our money through the form of government funds and all that kind of stuff. All right, so you guys take care. Be safe, be free. I'm going to end this so that you can go back and watch those videos. Again, I'm not happy that we've got a government that's lying to us. You guys take care.